Pash YouTube channel. Now, yes, I'm wearing my shades today, kind of looking a little bit like a G, but I tell you why, is because I usually wear my shades when I get a lot of sensory overload, and basically what that is when colours are a bit too bright, and it's to do with like being on the spectrum and things like that. Like sometimes colours like just different colours can appear quite bright, especially like green and things like that. But it's more like the artificial green, not the green that you get when you're walking outside in the woods. That's like quite calming because it's a real colour, but like the artificial green can glow up quite big. I remember going into an aisle once in a shop, and there was like lots of sweets in there, and they were different colours, and it was so bright, and I had to put on my shades because I was just getting like a bit sketched out by it. It's crazy. I don't know, but it's what I get, and it's just what helps me out. So yeah, that's basically it. So anyway, moving on, moving on from the shades. So this live stream today is going to be a rather different one because it's going to be the full shebang. I don't know how long it's going to last. Like sometimes my live streams last about like half an hour, sometimes 40 minutes. I'm not too sure how long this one's going to last because I have got a fair decent bit to talk about, as you can probably tell by the title of this stream. And in today's stream, I'm going to be talking about the past, my growth as a man, and my faith, my religious faith. And I'm just going to be talking really raw and real about myself, really. So I sat down and I made some notes for today's live stream, so it's going to be a bit more organised than my usual ones where I'm just throwing on the camera and just talking bollocks. Excuse my French. But yeah, so I've got my cigarettes, I've got my juice, my tropical. There you go, sponsor, fucking. No, I've not been sponsored by these guys, but this is a nice drink, yeah. Anyway, so let's get into it now. I know I said I was going to do this stream as well about 2 o'clock, but I decided that I was going to do it now because I was pretty much ready to go. And I'm not expecting people to come in, and if any audience come in and, you know, I see some comments, I might respond to those comments, but I'm not going to respond to them straight away. I'm just going to get on with what I'm talking about in today's stream. Anyway, so let's get on to it. So the first thing I've got written down on my list is we're going to be talking about the past. We're going to be talking about what it was like for me growing up. What was the deal? Like, why am I the way I am today, in a sense? You know, lots of different things. I think if I talk about my past, I think that those questions will be answered. So, growing up at school is the first thing. Now, this isn't like a self-interview. This is simply for my channel. This is like, you know, for my own thing and for content myself. So, life growing up at school for Joshua Pash, what was it like? I'd say that life for me growing up at school, in primary school, it wasn't too bad. Like, because I grew up in a village, and that's all going to be tied into this. But I grew up in a village in the UK. It was a very, very small village, and everyone knew everyone in this village. Everyone was friends with everyone, and, you know, the parents knew each other, the kids knew each other, we all lived next to each other, and we all went to the same school. And you know, so you were in this very tight-knit community, and it kind of felt like the outside world was very foreign. And it may sound like I'm talking about something like out of medieval times, but no, seriously, like, you know, beyond the boundaries of the village, it just was completely unknown. All you knew was the village. That's all you knew. In some ways, I think that's quite cool, really. I think it's good that it was like that, but at the time, I hated it. So anyway, primary school years was very much like that. You know, it was a C of E school that I went to, and it was very based on religion. It was based around the Church of England, and you know, it was in its own way. I think it was quite cool, really, because you know, you go to school with your friends, and then you'd leave, and then you'd go and hang out with those same friends down the fields or down the estate or something. And the village, it just had next to no crime in it. There was no crime. There was nothing like that. It was very, very, very quiet, you know. And I remember Christmases at school. They really do stand out to me. Christmases were really fun because you had like the services and the carol singing, and Also as well, you had all these like after school clubs as well, which I went to chess club, and I quite liked chess club. In fact, I went into chess club with Archie, and he actually became what was it, like chairman of the chess club. He became primary school. He's only little, um, and I said that I'm going to verse him at a game of chess at some point. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Might live stream it. So yeah, that was pretty much my life at primary school. In regards to bullying, I think there was little fallouts. I think that's all it really amounted down to. There wasn't like any fully fledged bullying. It was just little fallouts, kids squabbling. That's all it was. Like you can't, I think when I was younger, I think I said, oh yeah, I was bullied. But when now I'm an adult, I can see that it was just kids squabbling. That's all it was. There wasn't anything out of the ordinary there. And growing up in the village, now that's the other thing I've got. Growing up in the village was, like I said, beyond the boundaries of the village, you really didn't know what was out there. It was unknown. It was it was very close knit community. Like, we had like two churches. You had a Baptist church and you had the C of E church. You had like a pub, a hotel. Two hotels. It was like that. And growing up in the village, do you know what? I'm actually gonna say, at the time, I didn't like it because I was like, I want to go and see what's out there. I want more. I want more. I want more. And throughout my life, I've always said to myself, I want more. And I've now hit a stage today where I'm actually pretty content, and I don't want any more, because if you want more, you got to work hard for it. No, I don't mind progressing, but like in regards to like actually wanting more in the village, it was very much like I wanted to see what it was like out there, and I thought I don't want to stay in Bibury my whole life. I thought I was going to find my fortune out there. I thought I was going to meet, have loads of girls around me. I was a young boy at the time, and I thought it was going to be like that. So yeah, that was my sort of like vision outside the village. But actually growing up in the village was not bad. Wasn't bad. At the age of 14, even right up to the age of 17, going down the woods, messing around, building dens and stuff like that. I'm not, these young teenagers today, I think they grow up too quick. They're already trying to be a man at the age of 16, as well as like for me, when I was 17. Hell, sometimes 18. I think at 18 I was doing some goofy shit like a child. Goofy stuff, sorry, excuse my cursing. Goofy stuff like a child, I was talking to a friend a couple of days ago, and I was telling him about this, and I actually said, one of the things we used to do as kids, we used to go to the shop in the town, in the local town, which of course was outside the village, so going to town was like a big deal, if you went to town, it was a big deal. So when we went there, or when I went there, I would go into the party shop straight away, spend my pocket money on caps. So basically what caps were is these little things that you put into these little toy guns, and you pull the trigger and they go bang. They don't shoot anything out, it's just a kid's toy. And I'd go and buy absolutely tons of them, and we sometimes make them into bombs. I remember that basically, I used to smack one as hard as I could with a hammer, and it used to make the most almighty bang. Oh, we did pee off the neighbours, something chronicle. And especially when like Archie and me, we went down the bottom of the estate, and we'd have these little cap guns, and we'd pretend to have like this mega shootout, gunfight at the OK Corral Bibury, and all this stuff. It was mental, and it was funny, and so we that's what we did, and we went, and that's what it was, and like going out and maybe sometimes camping out and things like that, and then in regards to the movies, like that was what I did around the village, was make the films and all the rest of it, and the tasks I did on a daily basis there, this is another thing I've written down, the tasks I did on a daily basis round the village was, well, I was a sheep farmer for about 4 years, and I did a lot of sheep farming and things like that with the local farmers, and that was really fun. I met up with I think my dog has actually guffed something chronicle. No, my dog has farted. That stinks. I might check in to see if there was anything that he'd done on the floor, but there's nothing on the floor. Um, you're mental, mate. You haven't done anything nasty on the floor, have you? No, you just guffed. God, it stinks. Proper smells like fart as well. Sorry. Tasks I did on a daily basis. So yeah, I was sheep farming, and when the farmers were away, that's what I had to do. Like going basically run the farm by myself. And the tasks for me, myself personally, it was I wanted to get as much YouTube content out there as possible. So after a while and start progressing in that avenue of things. And the one type of category that I liked, of course, was westerns. I don't know if I'm glitching out here. My phone says I'm glitching out. Strange. I hope it's still coming through all right. Yeah. So the one category of film that I liked was westerns. I loved my cowboy films. That is what I did, and you know, I wanted to make cowboy films myself. It was a big love that I had for cowboy films and still do have for Wild West films. Always point to the Western Wall. And I guess that's because of the freedom and the fact that with a Western you can kind of do anything you want to do. Like, you know, you could be a romance, it could be a horror, it could be an investigation, it could be an action, it can be adventure. You know, it's with a Western you can make it whatever you want to be, and I think that's what I quite like about Westerns is that there's all cards are off the table with it. You can do whatever you want with it, and I just love the fact of that freedom. And when you're also watching a Western, it's very much you're looking at the environment, you're looking at the animals. A Western isn't just cowboys, guns, bang. It for me, it's much more. It was a way of life back then. It stood as its own category of film, and that's I love westerns, you know, spaghetti westerns as well. I'm even repping the good, bad and the ugly today. Hey, so yeah, that's what I quite liked back then, you know, was that, and I still do love westerns. I'm planning to write more for the channel, so you know, for the tasks on a daily basis, for me it was to upload as many Western films as possible. And when I had my days off work, because I was also working as a kitchen porter at one point, and I just, you know, would do my graft there, and then as soon as I had a day off or an afternoon off, I was straight down, I was filming, I was really progressing with this filming stuff. And that was that. And the goals, you see, the next thing I've written down is the goals then to the goals now. And the goals then was to build the YouTube channel up as quickly as possible, and to really make that my main concern with anything. And you know, it was I wanted to build the YouTube channel up and start earning money from YouTube. And the goals now is, if that happens, that'll be nice, but really there's a lot more responsibilities I've got now. So, you know, the goals then to the goals now is different, because back then there was no responsibility. It was you get up, you go to work, you come back home, you do whatever the hell you want to do, because I was young. And now I get up, I go to work, I come back, but there's things I need to do. You know, there's stuff that needs to be done. So, you know, that's why I'm not so consistent like I was before with the YouTube channel, because things need to be done outside of that, which is annoying. Because, you know, when I think back to those days, and I think back to the times where I was, you know, going out and I was filming, I was doing those things, you know, I kind of miss that because I didn't have the responsibility. So I could go out and I could go and film and I could just do what I want to do, you know. And yeah, that was it. And I think, you know, a lot of people don't realise that when they're that age, you know, you're trying to grow up too quick, but just enjoy your childhood, because I think I was one of those people that was, you know, in a sense trying to grow up way too quick. And I should have just enjoyed the years I was a child. You know, so the goals then to the goals now, it's all tied into the same. And they're very, very, very different. I think goals now would be to pass my big motorcycle test. That's big, you know, because I'm young and I want to get out and I want to ride, you know. I need to go. You know, I have so many places I want to go. You know, and I want to go there on the bike. Um, and getting married. You know, Tasha and me are going to be married in a couple of months, hopefully, if all goes well. Um, Maybe even raising a family. I don't know. You know, there's lots of different things that I quite like, and also, you know, on there is to make more money, and I think the main one is to not have to work all day every day for the rest of my life, because who wants to do that, you know? So I'm on this kind of mission to invest money, to have my fingers in a lot of pies, cryptocurrency, buying and selling stuff, just to add, just to bring in a bit more revenue, really, to bring in a little bit more to my pocket, and so I can afford things. And rather than being like looking at my bank account going, oh my freaking days, oh, am I ever gonna, do you know what I mean? Like, rather than looking at it like that, like, I don't want to just be ticking over and have a little bit of money to spend. I actually want to be fully alright. But that's like everyone's wish, you know? But I actually, you know, you got to put in the work to be able to get to that. So that in itself is a goal, and all the rest of it. Now, last 3 years. Over the last 3 years, things have changed rather significantly, and I did do a video on this back in wintertime, when I said I was coming back to the channel and I was planning to make some films and stuff like that, which I did. I'm planning to make more films. And, you know, I did kind of speak about what had happened. But one of the things that happened on a regular basis was falling outs, sorry, that I had with many people. And I would make a friend. So what I would do is I would make a friend, and I would literally be like so freaking chummy with them. I'd be meeting up with them constantly. I'd be, you know, I'd be like out and about like with them, and every time I had a day off, what you up to? So I was kind of a bit pestery in a sense, I suppose. I was mind the things. But then, like, you know, the people who, not everyone, but the people who I was hanging around with, majoritively, they were not real people, if that makes sense. They were the kind of people that would say something to your face and then say something else behind your back. So, you know, I kind of knew that in my heart of hearts, but then when it happened, I took it badly. And there was very much like, you know, I found a lot of people in over the last 3 years, and this is not everyone who I've met over the last 3 years, so I don't want people to, you know, who are on my YouTube and think I'm chatting this, that, and the other. I don't want them to think that I'm talking about them, because, you know, I'm not talking. You know, the real have stayed and the fake have gone. Anyway, but I had fallings out with people very regularly, and I had these like friendship circles. I'd make these friendship circles, and they're falling out, and then I'd go off on my Larry for a little bit, and I'd come back, make another friendship circle, then there would be a falling out, and I'd go off again. And it was the same thing. And, you know, I looked back on that, and I kind of thought to myself, why the fuck was I falling out with everyone? And I just realised I'm not an easy individual to get along with. No, I'm not. Like, honestly, I know there's a few fans on my YouTube and stuff like that that say, oh yeah, top bloke. But, you know, I've always had really high expectations, not just with life, but with people as well. And I didn't know that until recently, when I just really sat back and meditated on what the reason was, or why I was falling out with so many people. And I still not fall out with people regularly, but like I still had an incident recently where I fell out with someone, and someone just ditched me, and that was that. It was done and dusted. You know, so it was difficult, because you know, like I sat there back and thought, you know, I think my expectations of people are quite high. I also thought as well that you know, maybe they're just not live stream. Alright, cool. So I was getting a phone call then, and it just glitched out everything. I don't know if you guys seen that, but right. It's always when I'm doing a live stream. Whenever I'm doing a live stream, someone wants to call me. When I'm just sat here and I'm waiting for someone to call me, they don't call me. No, it was just my neighbour. I'll get onto him in a minute. But anyway, let's get on to the next question. So, mental health. I've done enough videos on that, but I will go over it a little bit now. Now, mental health is not like I come down with it. I've been diagnosed by the doctors and everything like that to say I was severely messed up. Oh, hold on. So I was reading a message that was come through on my phone. Easily distracted here. Sorry. Mental health. So, yeah, I was diagnosed with severe mental health and all the rest of it. You know, I went for tests, went for therapy, I went for everything. They was testing me left, right, and centre. They just, you know, I think the mental health doctors, or whatever you want to call them, they just didn't really know what exactly it was with me, and I think I had a lot of grudges, from the past, and I had a bit of trauma with that, and I was very much victimizing myself a lot, saying, oh, other people this, other people that, meh, just moaning and groaning all the time. And I think I fell into such a routine of that it actually gave me bad mental health. And do you know what? Going back up to what it was like growing up in the village, that's what happens when I left the village. You know when they say, like, simple people are happy people? It's true. It's true. When you live a simple life and do simple things, I am a firm believer in that you'll have a happy life. Because things are just kept simple. But because I went out there and I wanted more, and along with more came more trauma, you know, it just had an effect. And you know, I had this burden of things that I was carrying around with me all the time. And so, you know, that in itself with the mental health, I think that's one of the biggest reasons for that. And that was a whole of 2022. You know, that was awful. I can't tell you how awful that was. It was you waking up every day and you just think something bad's going to happen. You know, I'm depersonalized. I was even thinking about my own death. How am I going to go? What's going to happen? Am I going to be murdered? Am I going to die of old age peacefully and soundly on a freaking rocking chair outside my front door? I don't know, you know? But that was what was flooding my mind all the time. Every day. Like, and it was scary. And, you know, I'd wake up and I'd be freaked out for no reason. Or I just have no energy. And I tried all sorts of things. I tried to get drunk. Didn't work. In fact, made it worse. CBD was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, CBD was alright. That actually did have an effect. I think that sort of got my mind a bit more calmer now, so that I could focus. So I'd be nosy with the neighbours. You know, it was, yeah, there's not much more really to say on that. You know, I had therapy, and, you know, through the therapy, I speak to people. I speak to one in particular woman, the therapist. And, you know, she was the one I told everything to. And there's certain things I won't say on this live stream that I went through, you know, because obviously there's some things are private, you know. But yeah, like, you know, so that in itself was, the mental health was, ugh. But it is my own fault, really, you know. It's the way I was looking at life. It wasn't, yeah, no, it's just the way you look at life, I suppose. If you look at life in a bad way, you're only going to see bad things, and that's really what it was. And again, like, you know, I talk about simple people. I should have stayed simple, really, shouldn't I? I've got a comment here. Oh, it's Will. How's it going, dog? See, CBD is like sex with a condom. It's not proper weed. Yeah, but you know my experience with that, Will. I literally, that time where I had the. So here's a little story I'll say. I picked up a vape box, and I thought it was ordinary nicotine. Like, I thought it was like ordinary nicotine. So I, like, just picked it up off the side, started I had about 10 chuffs on this thing, trying to get the whole room to fill with steam, or whatever, vape, that's it. And it was about 5 minutes, I'm like, just going down. Like, as I'm going down, I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? You know, and I'm like having this out of body experience in a sense, and I'm like freaking out. And then I turned to the person who I was with next to and was like, what was that? Like, was that ordinary nicotine? And the person turned around next to me and goes, yeah. And I said, but you smoked the THC vape out of that. Tell me you've cleaned it and cleaned the coil and everything like that. They went, no, you don't have to. And I was like, yeah, you fucking do. I'm off my nuts right now. I started freaking out, like, proper bad. And it really did put me off weed. It really, really did put me off weed. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. But, yeah. Oh, awful. I can't tell you how awful that was. It was horrible. Yeah, honestly, I think that was probably one of the causes for my depersonalization. I think it is gay. It wasn't gay. I tell you, it was not gay. It was awful. I tell you, it was proper bad. Because when you're smoking it, it's fine. Because you know what you're smoking, and you're like, okay, cool. But like, when you don't know and it's just caught you off guard, you kind of think, what the fuck is going on? So, yeah, but you have to stick around for this one, Will, because now you come in at the right time, because now I'm talking about, you're going to leave in a minute, I know you are, but like faith in God and my faith views. What's the difference between, oh, here we go. What's the difference between... Oh, no, don't disappear. What's the difference between sex and the hungry? I don't know, Will. What is? Don't be putting bad stuff up on my channel. I've worked hard for this. I'm almost on 300 subs here. Where you put the cucumber. Rank. That is rank. Where you put the cucumber. Bloody hell. If you got a spare minute, well, I'll just fill in this. I'll just get through this faith, and I'll bring you in if I can. I don't know if I can bring you in. Can I bring people up on the camera? What about if I click on his name? Can I? No, I wanna... Hang on, let me just see if I can't bring you in. I don't know if I can bring you in on this. I haven't gone go live with others, that's the thing. We'll have to do a live stream together, Will, honestly. Well, in fact, right, so I'll go on this, like, so we are thinking about bringing, well, I say we, me, I'm thinking about making up a podcast. I don't know what it would be called yet. I don't know anything like that. But I've had Taylor give me an absolute crap ton of subjects. He's literally scoured Reddit, and he's got a whole essay list of just like controversial subjects, or just things that are interesting to talk about in a sense. So that is definitely something I want to get on. I want to start doing some stuff with a podcast. And I would absolutely love, right, to get Will on a podcast, 100%, because we were sat doing these interviews, and I couldn't, because Will just come out with something, and it would just crack me up, super, like, I'll be immobile for a little bit, or he'll just say something that's just, how I want to say it, but I'll go round it a different way. I'll just dance around it, and Will just go boom and just say it, and it's just one of those things that's quite funny. But I kind of song and dance around it, because even though I don't really care, but in a sense I do. I don't care about people's feelings, but in some other ways I do. I think I care too much. But hang on, what's this? Would have to be on my other channel. Can't go live on this, dog. Okay. Yeah. I think it's I don't know. I've managed to get Chain Productions to go live now. I call a spade a spade. Yeah, yeah, that's it. So I would love, because I think if this podcast kicked off, we hopefully we'd have people like message in and ask questions and we'd answer them. And I think it would be really interesting to see like how people's reaction to Will would be. I think it would be that of, oh, Will's on the podcast, oh fuck. You know, I'm hoping it would be like that, and that it would be big and people would, you know, like enjoy it, because that's what it's all about. My dog can hear the other dogs. Chill out, mate. Chill out, mate. Right. Let's so faith. Now we can talk about your God. We can talk about your God, love, man. Well, I'm about to talk about it now. My God. Right. So, I suppose this faith, or I suppose religion in a sense, has kind of been in my life since the very beginning, because chill out, Toby. Since the very beginning, because like I said, I went to a C of E primary school, so that was very God orientated. It did teach you good values, though. It wasn't like a bad thing. It was you know, my mum was quite religious as well, and I kind of strayed away from God. I kind of went on to spirituality for a decent bit of time in my life. I was collecting all them bloody crystals and stuff, you know, and I went on to that, and it was just dead, you know. It was like, oh yeah, you got this crystal, let's go and charge it in the moonlight. Yeah, what the fuck is that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and you're depending on this bloody crystal. I wore crystals around my neck because I thought it would cure my anxiety. Tell you what it did, sod all. It didn't do anything. It was a pretty little rock, and that's what it did, you know. And you're putting all this faith in a stone, and it doesn't work because the stone is just a stone. It's not real. It doesn't work. But for me, when I started stepping back towards God and, you know, going down that route, I found I benefited as a person more from that, because, you know, I've read the Bible, and it's not, I looked up at it then, and it's not just a book about, you know, putting your hands together, you know, it's a book that actually captures how to live a decent life. Now, if all the commandments in the Bible were abided, would it be a bad thing? You know, let's face it, would it be a bad thing? I mean, you know, there's different, the problem is you've got different interpretations of the same book, and you've got Catholics, you've got Baptists, you've got Orthodox, you've got, it's all crazy. But really, the fundamental thing that I have that's not in the confines of a religion is faith. I just have faith. I approach a situation with faith, because I'm like, it's okay, God's gonna look out for me with this. But the thing is, like, you still have to take opportunities that are given to you, and the way that my life has worked out so far has almost been like clockwork. And I've had this thing that happened where everyone just went, like, because I became part of the mob, as soon as I joined that, I had these people who I thought were my friends just go whoosh, and leave. And I thought they were my friends, but it turns out they weren't. And I'm glad that that happened, because I would not have liked to have been in friendships with people that ultimately didn't have that, I say ride or die, but like they would just leave instantly like that, you know. And how that's allowed me to move forward is just because it helps with the whole fear, because I'm a big believer in that God doesn't make fear. God creates a non-feared atmosphere, which is like, there's only one person that gives you fear, right? And that's the devil, right? The devil will be like, no, you've got to leave, you've got to run for the hills and run away and be scared. Whereas God's like, what are you doing? Don't be scared, just carry on, do it. You know, as I had an instant the other day where I was like, oh, I just want to run away, I just want to run away, I just want to get away, I just want to run, get out, run away and shit like that. And then God's like, well, why do you want to run away for? Oh, because I'm scared. And he went, yeah, well, so was Joshua when he marched around the temple. Do you think Moses wasn't scared when he was facing off to Pharaoh? Do you not think all these people were scared? No. And do you know why they won? Because they had faith. Because they moved forward. Because they didn't take no as an answer. Nothing. That's it. And that's why my faith has helped me to move forward. And that's it. And that ultimately is the man I am today. And the man I am today is significantly different to the man I was before. The man, like the boy I was before, was one that just wanted to go out, have fun, had passion for things but never put in the effort. And the man I am today is a man that has a passion, will never lose my passion for creation and striving forward. But instead of just having it as a dream, I will put in the effort to strive that forward now. And that's it. So, anyway, people, I think I'm about to go live with Will Dog. So, let's, I will see, I'll probably have to end this stream and go and join the link he's just sent me on WhatsApp. So, I will end this stream, and then we will go over to that channel, which hopefully that live stream will be saved, because that will be a little bit funny, that one, I reckon. Anyway, God bless everyone. Take it steady. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I shall see you later. And Will, I shall see you in a second.